After surviving the Boxing G1 scare tactics, I'm mind blown by these crazy robots. They move with precision, think on their feet, and look like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Hope he doesn't leap at me. Hey. Wow.
America just stunned the world, and most people missed it. While everyone argues online, a quiet revolution is rearranging life.
We are in autonomy, and you can see this is a ride observer, but really does not touch the vehicle at all. You see there's no hands on the wheel, no feet on the pedals.
Drones now deliver medicine to remote villages. Cars can drive themselves from factory to front door, and factories hum with robot crews. Behind this convenience, powerful AIs are learning to predict human behavior and make real decisions. A single company now stitches surveillance into daily life, mapping movements and habits. This isn't science fiction. It's a fast-moving reshape of power, work, and personal freedom. And who controls it right now? Zipline. A drone drops blood from the sky and lands it inside a 1-meter target at a Rwandan hospital. No human pilot, no landing required. That's Zipline, the company that turned drone delivery from a sci-fi idea into real, life-saving work. It started by flying blood and vaccines to remote hospitals in Rwanda, where roads slow everything down. And now the same tech is being used to move everyday items and medical supplies faster than any truck could in the US. What makes Zipline feel futuristic is not just the plane itself, but the brain behind it. Zipline builds a flight IQ system. Think of it like the drone's eyes and brain combined, so the craft can read the sky, avoid obstacles, and pick a safe path even when the weather is messy. Their newest approach pairs a big winged Zip with a tiny thruster-packed droid that lowers the package right where it needs to be, inside a 1-meter target. That gives crazy precision without the drone having to land. Delivery steps are hands-off and tidy. Someone orders, a nearby Zip is routed by an automated control center, the drone flies point to point on a planned route, and the package is lowered or parachuted to the drop spot. Then the Zip returns to base and charges up, ready for the next run. Zipline systems include backups, parachutes, rigorous testing, and fail-safes, so things stay safe. Why this matters for you, beyond the wow factor, is speed and reliability. Road traffic? Irrelevant. Mountain passes? Irrelevant. Need blood or a critical drug in 20 minutes? Zipline can do that. That's why governments in Rwanda, Ghana, and Kenya use it, and why the US State Department is backing expansions. In short, Zipline isn't a gimmick. It's a new way to move stuff when time truly matters. X-Bat. Shield AI unveiled an autonomous fighter jet in late 2025 that takes off vertically, flies over 2,000 nautical miles, and can dogfight in GPS-jammed environments without a human pilot. That's the idea behind Shield AI's X-Bat, an AI-piloted vertical takeoff and landing, or VTOL warplane built to work where runways aren't an option. The company unveiled the aircraft in late 2025, pitching it as an affordable, attritable digital wingman for contested battlefields. At the core is Shield AI's HiveMind autonomy software. HiveMind is designed to let X-Bat fly in GPS-denied or jammed environments, share tactics with other aircraft, and keep operating even when comms are weak. That means swarms of these jets can coordinate without constant radio talk, useful when enemies try to blind sensors or choke links. The same autonomy stack helped Shield AI demonstrate advanced air combat maneuvers in previous tests, showing the company's focus on both dogfighting and real mission work. Physically, X-Bat is compact but capable. It's a VTOL design so it can launch from ships, islands, or small clearings. Shield AI bills it with fighter-level range, north of 2,000 nautical miles when loaded for a mission, and the ability to carry internal and external weapons, plus sensors for strike, electronic warfare, or reconnaissance. The small footprint means more jets can be staged from tight decks or roadable shelters, multiplying sortie rates when every plane counts. Modern air combat is moving toward distributed, inexpensive combat mass. A fleet of cheaper autonomous X-Bats can take risks that an expensive manned fighter can't, soak up enemy fire, and present many targets across a theater. That helps preserve human pilots while still projecting power. Plus, being cheaper than a 5th-gen jet makes it realistic to buy lots of them. Instead of a few expensive manned fighters, militaries could field swarms of autonomous jets that can take risks no human pilot would survive. This is not a finished in-service fighter yet. Shield AI plans further testing, and timelines point toward continued development through the late 2020s. Regulators, command chains, and tactics will shape how quickly these jets move from demos to real combat squadrons. But the big idea is simple: cheaper, smart, and flexible air power that can operate from places fighters can't. Tesla's self-driving delivery. Imagine you buy a car, walk outside, and your new ride gently pulls up to your door, except today it drove itself there. That's exactly what happened in late June 2025 when Tesla and Elon Musk shared a video of a Model Y driving from the Gigafactory in Texas to a customer's home with no one behind the wheel. It was about a 30-minute trip across highways and suburban streets, and Tesla called it the world's first fully autonomous factory-to-customer car delivery. So what actually happened? Tesla used its full self-driving software, FSD, and robotaxi stack to route the car, handle lane changes, stop at lights, and navigate roundabouts. Tesla and Elon Musk shared footage and posts about the trip, and staff said the car reached highway speeds during parts of the run, a real test of the system's ability to mix highway and city driving. Before you freak out, this was a controlled demo, and Tesla still faces legal and safety checks before rolling this out broadly. Many experts stress that demos don't equal mass availability. Regulators, insurers, and testing need to catch up. Still, the event matters because it's a proof point. The software and chips Tesla has been designing are capable of handling a full end-to-end real-world journey. That's huge for the industry because it pushes the idea of cars acting like robots that can operate unsupervised. That means a future where new cars might not need traditional handoffs at the dealership, where robo-taxis pick up riders, and where logistics like moving cars, deliveries, and people can be automated. It's not here for everyone yet, but Tesla just flipped a big switch from possible to it actually happened. Expect faster demos, more videos, and a louder debate about when autonomous driving becomes everyday life. Autonomous trucks. For the first time, driverless trucks are hauling commercial freight on American highways with nobody in the cab. Aurora began commercial hauls between Dallas and Houston in 2025. Aurora, for example, began commercial driverless hauls between Dallas and Houston in 2025, and other players are scaling tests into real revenue runs. So how do these robot trucks work? They use stacks of sensors, cameras, radar, and LiDAR, plus big neural nets that learn to drive in highway conditions. Companies build redundant braking, steering, and power systems so a single glitch doesn't cause disaster. The software handles lane changes, speed control, merging, and long stretches of highway driving where trucks spend most of their time. Remote operators monitor fleets, but the goal is driverless long-haul core legs with humans handling the weird bits like city docks. Why Texas? The state has friendly lanes for testing and recently built corridors and rules that speed rollouts. That's why we're seeing the first commercial runs there. It's easier to validate the tech on long, predictable highway stretches before tackling messy urban streets. Companies often start with night runs and fixed routes to minimize surprises while they collect miles and data. What this means for every American is practical: lower freight costs, faster shipping, and fewer delays caused by driver shortages. For truckers, it's complicated. The American Trucking Association reports 3.5 million professional truck drivers in the U.S., making this one of the most common occupations. For the supply chain, robot trucks can run longer shifts and predictable schedules. The tech is already real on highways. The industry is now figuring out scale, regulations, and how to safely put thousands of driverless trucks on the road. Amazon's deep fleet. Inside Amazon's giant fulfillment centers, thousands of little robots zip around like ants, moving shelves, carrying bins, and shuttling products to human packers. Deep Fleet is Amazon's new brain for those robots, a generative AI traffic controller that learns how to route machines, avoid jams, and shave time off millions of tiny trips. Amazon says this model can boost robot travel efficiency by about 10%. At Amazon scale, over 175 fulfillment centers worldwide, this efficiency gain affects millions of daily package movements. Here's the simple idea. When you have a million moving robots, naive routing creates bottlenecks. Deep Fleet treats the warehouse like a city and predicts where congestion will form, then nudges robots onto better paths, times moves, and smooths traffic. The system constantly learns from real behavior, so it improves over time. Why does a 10% gain matter? Because shipping is a scale game. A tiny cut in robot travel time speeds packing, reduces energy use, and can mean getting packages out the door hours earlier. For customers, that shows up as faster delivery. For Amazon, it means lower operating costs and smoother warehouse floors. For workers, smarter robots usually mean fewer chaotic pauses and less need for human intervention to untangle jams. Deep Fleet is a neat example of AI moving from recognize stuff to orchestrate many things at once. It's not flashy like a self-driving car on the highway, but it's exactly the kind of quiet, multiplying efficiency that powers modern e-commerce. So, while robots do the moving, Deep Fleet is the invisible conductor making sure the whole orchestra doesn't trip over its feet. S-70 U-Hawk. Sikorsky and Lockheed Martin removed the Black Hawk's cockpit, added 25% more cargo space, and taught it to fly combat resupply missions autonomously. Sikorsky and Lockheed Martin have demonstrated this with the S-70 UAS U-Hawk, a modified S-70 airframe that replaces the cockpit with expanded cargo capacity and onboard autonomy. Designed for unmanned logistics, it can carry cargo, launch drones, support maritime operations, and perform resupply missions on the battlefield. The most obvious change is physical. The cockpit area is replaced by actuated clamshell doors and a ramp, giving roughly 25 more cabin room. That space means bigger loads, vehicle payloads, or a bay full of smaller drones and supplies. Without pilots, the airframe can be optimized for cargo and mission flexibility instead of human ergonomics. Autonomy is the headline shift. The U-Hawk runs on a modern fly-by-wire and autonomy suite, described in product briefs as Matrix or a similar system, that manages navigation, collision avoidance, precise approaches, and cargo handling without onboard crews. That lets the helicopter perform repetitive supply runs, resupply forward bases, or launch unmanned systems into contested zones where manned flights would be too risky. Why remove the cockpit? Two big wins: space and risk. Removing pilot stations frees room for useful cargo, and unmanned flights remove people from the immediate danger zone. For commanders, an autonomous S-70 means persistent resupply, medical evacuation drones, or forward staging without tying up pilot crews. The design also works well for maritime or firefighting conversions, where automation can control repeatable lift and delivery tasks. There are practical limits. Autonomy must prove itself in weather, brownout landings, ship deck operations, and contested airspace. Human oversight, secure communications, and safety certification will be essential before large-scale deployments. Yet the S-70 UAS shows a pragmatic path. Take a proven airframe, add modern autonomy, and create a flexible unmanned support helicopter that can scale fast because the airframe and logistics are already familiar to operators worldwide. Atlas. This new Atlas looks like a stunt robot, but the showy moves hide a serious aim: do real factory work. Boston Dynamics retired its old hydraulic Atlas and rolled out an all-electric version designed to be faster, cleaner, and able to work in real industrial settings. That change from hydraulics to electric actuators matters, because it makes the robot lighter, more energy efficient, and easier to control for precise tasks. At first glance, the clips of Atlas doing Parker still steal the spotlight. But the more important scenes are the ones where Atlas loads and unloads engine covers, picks parts from bins, and restacks items in a flow that looks like a human line worker, only steadier and repeatable. Those demos show the robot using cameras, 3D sensing, and force feedback to see a part, grasp it, and place it with real accuracy. That is the bridge from lab trick to factory helper. Safety and resilience are built in. The robot's motion control handles mistakes. If a part doesn't seat perfectly, Atlas can sense the mismatch and retry. Redundant controls and software checks help keep it from making a bad move when a sensor hiccups. That kind of error handling is exactly what manufacturers want before letting a robot near expensive parts or human colleagues. Why does this feel like a turning point? Big manufacturers care about uptime, precision, and repeatability. Atlas demonstrates a path where humanoid robots can operate in spaces designed for people, narrow aisles, raised benches, standard tool heights, without huge rework to the factory. That lowers the barrier to adoption compared with massive industrial arms that need custom cells. This won't replace humans overnight. The early use cases look like high-value, repetitive tasks where robots can run long shifts or where human labor is scarce. Expect a steady rollout, trials, safety audits, and then scaled deployments in places such as automotive plants. Humanoid robot competition. The race to build a useful humanoid robot is accelerating, with leading companies taking starkly different paths to the same goal. Where one bets on in-home learning, another pushes raw mobility, and a third chases pure speed, creating a competitive landscape defined by contrasting priorities. NEO can do basic tasks out of the box, open doors, fetch items, flip switches, and it gets better as it collects more examples of how people actually live. Here comes the trade-off. NEO will use teleoperators early on. That means trained humans can remotely pilot the robot to show it how to do a tricky job, and those sessions feed the AI so NEO can learn to do the same next time without help. Owners must agree to let verified operators see the robot's camera for those sessions, and the company says it adds blurring and safety zones to protect privacy. That model speeds up learning but also raises clear privacy questions. From a design angle, NEO is built to be house-friendly. The body is soft in places, sensors are tuned for home lighting, and weight and strength limits are set to reduce risk around people and pets. The company stresses owner control. Users can schedule remote sessions, limit where the robot can go, and approve when an operator takes control. Those features aim to keep the robot useful without turning the home into a live feed for corporate training. What will NEO actually be like day to day? Early adopters should expect a helper that's competent at routine chores, but still clumsy with edge cases. Folding clothes, putting away light items, and fetching simple things are likely, while complex tasks like cleaning a sticky spill or fixing a jammed appliance will still need human work. The company's bet is that millions of small teleoperated lessons will train a robust household AI over time. NEO shows a pragmatic path to home robots, ship a safe, useful machine now, and use supervised human teaching to accelerate real autonomy later. That trade-off makes the robot real today. But it also means buyers must accept a period where machines learn from humans in their own homes. NEO is being sold as the first real, consumer-facing humanoid that can live in a house and do chores. But it does that by leaning on people to teach it at first. The robot is offered for pre-order, with an early access price around $20,000 or a subscription option of $499. Meanwhile, in the lab, competitors are honing raw physical capability. A short lab clip from December 3, 2025 put Tesla's Optimus back in the spotlight. The humanoid runs, keeps balance, and moves with smoother gait than earlier clips. The viral update shows clear progress in mobility, and the post included headline specs that people keep talking about: height, weight, degrees of freedom, and battery size. Tesla first announced Optimus in 2021, with Musk promising robots within years. While hardware progress is visible, commercial deployment timelines remain unconfirmed by the company. Specs matter because they explain capability. Optimus is reported to stand about 5 feet 11 inches and weigh roughly 160 pounds. The body claims more than 40 degrees of freedom, with hands offering about 11 DOF to let the robot twist and grip like a human. The onboard battery is listed at about 2.3 kilowatt-hour, which, paired with efficient actuation, aims to let the robot work for long stretches without recharging. The machine's power draw ranges from a few hundred watts while walking to very low power at rest, which Tesla highlights as a sign of energy efficiency. The big technical wins are balance, control, and hands that can actually manipulate objects. The new clip shows improved gait control and coordination, key for moving around cluttered spaces and handling real objects. That's where dexterity and perception meet. Depth cameras, onboard state estimation, and fast control loops all combine so the robot doesn't trip or drop things when it moves at speed. Still, caution is needed. Viral lab footage demonstrates progress, not finished product readiness. Many tasks in real homes and factories require long runs of reliable perception, handling messy objects, and safe interaction with people. Tesla's approach seems incremental. Push mobility first, then layer on manipulation, sensing, and long-term autonomy. Observers note improvements but also say real-world deployment will need lots more validation. Optimus is getting closer to moving like a person rather than a stiff machine. If the progress keeps up, these mobility advances will unlock more useful tasks, picking items, moving boxes, and helping in factories or warehouses. Pushing the envelope on agility even further, Figure's new Figure 03 shows a robot that runs, turns, and brakes with a fluidity rare in humanoids. Figure 03 runs down hallways, changes direction mid-sprint, and stops suddenly without falling, sometimes with both feet off the ground. Short demo clips from the company show the bot taking off, carrying speed and changing direction while keeping balance, sometimes with both feet off the ground, which technically counts as running. The secret sauce is the control system, nicknamed Helix. It's a neural network-based controller that helps the robot predict how its body will move, then command actuators fast enough to match those predictions. Faster, higher torque actuators let the bot accelerate and stop quicker. That combination, crisp control plus beefy actuation, is what turns slow, lumbering prototypes into machines that can actually hustle through a warehouse aisle. In a factory or a warehouse, faster motion means faster pick-and-place cycles. If a humanoid can move at near-human jogging pace and still handle parts gently, it can slot into workflows that were previously off-limits to robots. Figure is leaning into that idea. Make a robot that's not just safe around humans, but actually competitive in throughput. Figure also focuses on practical hardware. Improved torque density and compact actuation make the whole robot lighter and more responsive. Those hardware gains reduce power draw and let the bot spend more time doing work between charges. The company has been testing earlier models in industrial settings, and Figure 03 is the step toward a more capable commercial machine. This stage still needs more data and field time. Running fast indoors is one thing. Running around cluttered, messy human spaces is another. Expect gradual rollouts, controlled factory lanes, then mixed human-robot floors, and finally more open environments. Spinlaunch. Spinlaunch looks nothing like a rocket. It's a massive centrifuge-style machine that spins a vehicle at extremely high speed, then releases it so the craft flies up through a vacuum shaft and into the sky. The idea: use kinetic energy to boost payloads partway to space, then finish the job with a small rocket. That could cut propellant needs and costs for small satellites. Testing happens at Spaceport America in New Mexico, where Spinlaunch built one of the largest vacuum test chambers and a huge suborbital accelerator. The company has run multiple successful flights that fling test vehicles at thousands of miles per hour and subject payloads to extreme G-forces, then recover those payloads for inspection. Those tests aim to show whether delicate instruments and satellite parts can survive the brutal launch profile. A headline moment came when Spinlaunch released a test that carried partner payloads, including experimental gear for government and industry customers, and then recovered them for study. That kind of flight answers the key question: can electronics, sensors, and small satellites handle the massive spin and sudden acceleration? Early results suggest certain ruggedized payloads can survive, but not everything will. Design trade-offs are real. A critical limitation: Spinlaunch can reach high suborbital altitudes, but achieving orbital velocity still requires a traditional rocket second stage. This accelerates payloads part way, not all the way to orbit. What does this mean for space startups and satellite operators? Launch costs and capacity are choke points. If Spinlaunch can provide a cheap, high-cadence way to get small payloads to a high suborbital arc, even if a rocket still finishes the job, it could open routes for rapid testing, education missions, and cheaper constellation deployment. The tech also gives customers a rare kind of testing environment. Components can be slammed with forces reaching tens of thousands of G, and G just means the force of Earth's gravity. So when a part is hit with 10,000 G, it's feeling 10,000 times the pull you feel standing on the ground. That level of stress is perfect for qualification tests and for preparing hardware meant to survive the harsh conditions of lunar missions. This approach is not a drop-in replacement for rockets. Payloads need hardening, and some sensitive science simply won't survive the spin. But as a niche service, a fast, low-fuel first stage or a testing rig for toughening hardware, Spinlaunch is a bold rethinking of how to get things off the ground. For anyone who loves weird engineering, it's one of the most imaginative rides to watch. Gotham. Robots without surveillance are just machines. But what happens when a single company builds the system that ties the world's data together? Palantir's Gotham is that system, a sprawling platform that can stitch thousands of feeds into one searchable picture of people, places, and events. Gotham pulls in passports, phone locations, financial and medical logs, social posts, satellite images, and brokered data. It links fragments into timelines and networks, highlights patterns, and surfaces ranked leads for analysts. Agencies map movements, plan operations, and task sensors from CCTV to satellites. In short, it turns scattered signals into action. That power has real consequences. Palantir holds over $1 billion in government contracts, including major Pentagon and immigration work. Critics point to predictive scoring, targeted operations, and deportation tracking as signs Gotham steers life-changing decisions rather than just helping humans search for clues. Reporting from 2023 to 2025 tied Palantir Tech to systems used in conflict zones that assigned risk scores and helped prioritize targets. In April 2025, funding was directed to enhance deportation analytics. Those examples show how Gotham's data web can be used for lethal force, detention, and expanded surveillance. The platform is built for speed and secrecy. Classified contracts, commercial terms, and complex code make audits difficult. That raises big questions. Who watches the watcher? How accurate are the links? And what safeguards exist to limit bias or misuse? Gotham also offers visualization dashboards, timeline builders, alerting and sensor tasking interfaces so operators can move from insight to action in minutes. Agencies deploy it across policing, intelligence, military missions, emergency response planning, including border security. Gotham is not a villain, it's a tool, but its scale, deep government reach, and opaque operation make it one of the most consequential pieces of software in modern power. The real worry is simple. Systems that connect everything risk making surveillance routine, automated, and almost impossible to challenge. Palantir maintains Gotham helps prevent terrorism, locate trafficking victims, and coordinate disaster response, capabilities governments argue save lives. The question isn't whether powerful data tools should exist, but who controls them, what oversight exists, and whether democracies can balance security with privacy.